Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today, part 2 of the Cabral HouseCalls, our weekend edition of the show. I get to answer our community's questions every Saturday, every Sunday. We've been doing this now for 6+ years and really enjoy being able to listen to the community. I mean, that's the most important thing, is just to understand where people are coming from and how I'm able to help. And then also, as you've seen, hopefully you tuned in this past week, but a lot of your questions, they warrant larger and longer shows. So I'm usually only able to give a 2 to 3 minute answer here for your host calls in order to be able to answer 6 every single Saturday and every single Sunday. But then I can develop it into a 20-minute show, 15 to 20-minute show. And I'm always happy to do that if I think that this is something like, oh, a lot of people have been asking about this. Happy to do that. So without further ado, let's dive into today's show. Let's see. Again, I don't prep at all for these questions. This is just based on my take after 25 years in this amazing industry and helping well over 250,000 people, overseeing my team and I. So first question for the day is coming in from Anonymous. And if you want to read along today, you can head on over to stephencabral.com/2417. Okay, so the first question is from Anonymous, and they say, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do in your amazing podcast. You are a wealth of knowledge, and I trust your word before anyone else." Thank you, Anonymous. My question is about sodium. I get really dry skin, mostly on my face, when I have a very small amount of salt. Is this a gut issue like candida or yeast overgrowth? Why would this be happening so much later in life? I'm a male, 43 years of age, and I'm in pretty good health overall. I never had an issue with salt when I was younger, but now my nose, cheeks, and sometimes hands get really dry. I predominantly have salt only on the weekends, and whether it's Celtic or Himalayan, or maybe a cheap meal from a restaurant, it seems to overload my body. I always keep up my water throughout the day, so I'm hydrated as well. Any help with this would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, and keep up the fantastic work. Okay, thank you, Anonymous. And so let me just share with you that salt is typically never the issue all by itself. It is one of your electrolytes, and it usually means that there's an imbalance with magnesium or potassium along with it. And for the most part, I see the imbalance typically with potassium. So it could mean that you're not getting enough potassium in your diet to balance out the salt. That is just one particular reason, especially if you're getting in lots and lots of water. So what I would do is, this is what I would do personally, is I would run the minerals and metals test. So you can find that you can just go to stephencabral.com/HTMA. If you've never run a lab with us, we do a free lab program to introduce people to functional medicine. You're welcome to do that as well. Again, if you're a new lab client, just go to stephencabral.com/free lab. I don't talk about it a lot. We only give away 100 a month, but that is for people that have never done functional medicine. And again, it's my mission to pay it forward. So you pay shipping and handling, but we give you a $199 lab. And it's legitimate. People can't believe it. But it's taken me how long? 10 years to get here in functional medicine to be able to do this. And it's something that means a lot to me. So anyway, I would check your levels because you're most likely imbalanced here, where you just may need to get more potassium in as well. And you're getting more depleted. The other thing is there could be a low thyroid issue. So you might want to run a stress hormones, mood metabolism issue. I've seen that quite a bit. I don't know that there's a gut issue. You could certainly run the overall big 5, but if it were me, I would run that minerals and metals test. And I would run the stress, mood, and metabolism. That's what I would do. And then you can look up high potassium foods. I don't necessarily recommend supplementing with potassium supplements at high dose, but certainly you could look into high potassium foods, incorporate more of those into your diet for a week or two, see if it makes a difference. All right, so hopefully that's helpful, Anonymous. Another one from Anonymous, and this one says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do and for putting out these podcasts daily. They're highly informative, and I'm learning new things every day. Happy to hear that, Anonymous. My question is about branched chain amino acids, BCAAs. I know you've talked about them before, but I was just wondering if, when working out or lifting weights, a person can have 3 to 5 grams in water during the session to keep the body anabolic and not tap into muscle as a fuel source. I've heard that the leucine in branched chain amino acids is you're having it every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day, especially if you're not having any fish or meat with your meal, will basically flip an internal switch to keep you in a more anabolic state so you don't slip into catabolism and you can keep building muscle. I know we are supposed to have half our body in protein a day. So would this go against this and end up your protein intake is too much? Thank you again for all you do. Yeah, it's a great question. So keep in mind, it's not just protein, it's anabolism, right? So the more you're keeping your body in an anabolic environment, the less autophagy can take place, the less, fasting can't take place. And you're then potentially just more prone to certain heart disease, cardiovascular, blood pressure, cancer, et cetera. So it really depends on what are we really talking about here, right? So what you stated is true. If you're taking your leucine, isoleucine, valine, your branched chain amino acids before a workout, I would take them before because there's going to be a little digestion period, and then you'll have them during your workout. You're less likely to break down muscle. And if you take them during the day, then yes, you're less likely to break down muscle. There's no doubt about that. That is absolutely correct. The question is, what's the main goal? So if my main goal is to put on more muscle, I would take more protein shakes, which have branched chain amino acids in them, or I would take more branched chain amino acids. There's no doubt about that, okay? So no doubt about it. But my goal is to be as healthy as I can humanly possible. And because of that, I limit my protein to a degree, not overly limit it. I'm still getting 100 grams a day, 80 to 100 grams a day. And I'm very active individual. And I weigh 167 pounds. So it's not like I'm getting too much. So, I can't answer that for you because I don't know your goal. If your goal is to put on more muscle, then yes, taking branched chain amino acids throughout the day and before a workout will help you to preserve muscle and put more muscle on. All right. So hopefully that's helpful because it prevents catabolism to a degree. Kelsey is up next. I'm wondering the best approach to managing weight gain and inflammation and overall feeling better while taking an aromatase inhibitor. All right. So an aromatase inhibitor basically helps to lower estrogen or conversion to estrogen in the body. It can be taken for multiple reasons. And some people convert more testosterone to estrogen. And that's one reason why they do it. But there are other reasons as well. So how do you manage weight gain and inflammation? Well, an aromatase inhibitor, to me, isn't necessarily going to cause more weight gain or inflammation. So I would say that weight gain and inflammation does lead to higher levels of estrogen. So in a roundabout kind of way, I would say is you probably won't even, I don't know why you're taking the aromatase inhibitor. There could be for very valid and great reasons. So again, I have no say in that. But the nice thing is when you control weight and you control inflammation, you usually control a healthy level of estrogen in the body because the more body fat you add, the more estrogen and cortisol it produces in the body. So that's a really interesting fact. So that's how I look at it, for sure. And the less dysfunction there's going to be in blood sugar. So there's kind of not one thing. You want to control all of the different things. I would look up our Fatlocity system and our 21-day functional medicine detox. You don't need to do them, but I go over all the different reasons for weight gain. So like low thermogenesis, low thyroid, high cortisol, poor sleep, high blood sugar. I know there's probably a couple that I'm leaving out right there, but that's what you're doing. And if you haven't read my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, it really goes over all this. And the book is free. I pay for the printing of the book now. You just pay for the shipping and handling. That's at StephenCabral.com/free book. And you could check that out as well. Again, I try to give away as much free as I can, as best as I can. So that's that. Yeah, and then it all works together. I mean, literally, it all works together. I have so many podcasts on inflammation and weight gain. I don't even know where for you to start because there's so much. Like you could run labs, you could do the starter kit, you could do whatever it might be. But again, in my opinion, if you're looking to lose weight and you're looking to control inflammation, again, I can't give you medical advice. Medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. But for me, what do we do in our practice? 21-day functional medicine detox. That's at StephenCabral.com/detox. Going to do the 21-day. You'll have yourself a nice Flexmeal, and then you'll do the Fatlocity system. That's what I would do, and that's stephencabral.com/Fatlocity. So there you go. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. Always happy to do follow-ups. Luciana is up next. Or Luciana. Dr. Cabral, I have a severe case of keloid scars. I've done multiple surgeries to remove them, but it keeps coming back. My last surgery was 2 years ago to remove 2 very large scars from the back, my back and shoulder. After the surgery, we followed up with radiation, compression, and steroid shots. I've been battling this since I was in 4th grade and tried everything modern medicine has to offer. Yesterday, I went to my doctor to get more steroid shots, and he said, I can't get them anymore because my skin is getting too thin. The scar is getting wider because of the tension in the shoulder. I've asked naturopathic doctors before, but they didn't know how to help me. I've been following your work for the last few months, and I'm getting ready to do the 21-day detox this weekend. Modern medicine claims that keloid scars are genetic, even though I'm the only one in my family who has it. I've always asked why I've only started to develop them after age 10. Have you treated any patients with the same condition? What would your recommendation be? Should I set up an online consultation with you so I can further discuss the matter? Thank you for your time, Luciana. Okay, so happy to help. Again, anytime you use the word treat and patients, I have to give you my disclaimer. I don't provide any medical advice, any medical treatments, any medical diagnosis, or any medical cures. There we go. Those are the disclaimers. Okay, so how can we help you though? All right, so we need to look at underlying root causes. I don't disagree with modern medicine that they've said that keloid scars are typically genetic. I agree, but yeah, you might not have anybody in your family. And they typically occur between the ages of I think it's 10 and 30 years old. So basically developmental ages, but you can get them at any age. I have a couple of small ones on my body. They're basically like little, like the tip of an eraser. And my mom has them and my grandmother had them and I have them. But I have 2 and they're both on my legs. One of them is actually right at my knee, and the one is lower leg as well. Both of mine, so the main reason why keloid scars can happen is because of some type of friction or some type of injury, and it leads to a hardening of the tissue there. And that's not abnormal. Many people have them. The nice thing is they're non-cancerous. They're typically not to be worried about, etc. But in your area in particular, there's a lot of movement there. And so for me, I would say is what's going on below the skin. So I'm going to recommend that you see an active release practitioner, so active release therapist. Usually there'll be a chiropractor that specializes in ART. They'll take a look at your posture. They'll take a look at how your scapula or your scapulae move. That's important to look at that. You'll maybe do some foam rolling, things like that. But in terms of naturopathy, I would be using proteolytic enzymes. So I don't know the exact link, but you can go to stephencabral.com/shop. And then in the search box, type in proteolytic. It's PROTEOLYTIC. Many people with cysts and scars, etc., have used this product and gotten great results. So I would do 3 of those capsules, anywhere between 2 and 4 of those capsules on an empty stomach each morning. You could try that for a couple months. And overall, it helps incredibly for your arteries and inflammation in general. So that's that. What else? And then for the direct area, you could use something on it. And again, I'm not giving any medical treatment plans, such as a lower dose iodine. And you do that for 2 weeks. Okay, does it start to shrink it? Maybe, maybe not. You could also use maybe a little bit of apple cider vinegar first as a toner just on that area, and then maybe a little bit of that iodine. It'd be interesting. And the last thing that you may do is you might want to look at my podcast on castor oil packs. There could be inflammation specific to that area, and it'd be interesting to see if those castor oil packs helped as well. So those are my recommendations. Give them a shot and let us know how they worked. All right, let's see. Alexis is up next, and Alexis says, hello, Dr. Cabral. I'm an IHP level 2 and grateful for all you do. I was on the mend from COVID, and 2 days later, I woke up with full body severe nerve pain, the full body numbness, and no longer able to walk. I was diagnosed as transverse myelitis and positive for HHV6 and MOG. As a child, I had JRA and EBV, then was fine, and later had issues arise as an adult like shingles, rashes, vertigo, food sensitivities. I worked with someone to get rid of C. diff and Giardia. I've sealed and healed my gut a ton, but I must still have a higher viral load and other remaining issues, and this current virus attacked my nerves. What is the root? I believe I can heal and will. Any guidance and steps greatly appreciated in this time of need. Thank you. Alexis, happy to help. Again, I can't give you medical advice or treatment plans, but I have a bunch of podcasts on this. So I would love you to go to stevencabral.com/podcast, scroll through the images at the top, and then go under the ones for viruses. All right. So virus updates. I have one on long haulers, long COVID syndrome. I would love you to listen to that. That's going to give you the basis of it and all the different issues with dealing with post-viral inflammatory syndrome. So that's essentially what you're dealing with. So for you, it's attacking the nervous system, the myelin sheath, myelitis. So what we'll need to do, though, is we need to get the body healthy in general. So there's an overproduction of inflammation right now triggered by the viral load, and then it's attacking your weak spots. In the past, you've had other viruses like Epstein-Barr virus and some maybe herpes-based viruses. So I've done a whole podcast on how to kill and destroy viruses. I would definitely recommend checking that one out. I have a whole protocol that I personally use, and it's at stevencabral.com/the-protocol. You can check that out. But, your main things are going to be the de-stress protocol, literally anti-inflammatory diet, walking only for exercise as of right now, but getting the lymphatic system moving. Sure, rebounding is fine. Light sauna, so sauna, but not to exhaustion. You're going to want to include intermittent fasting, but not exhaust your body. So certainly stopping eating at like 6 o'clock at night, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, starting again, 3 meals per day, easy to digest. You're going to want to do, I don't want to jump back for a moment. And then, you need to keep your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your zinc where it should be, up. You want to look at minimum using your daily nutritional support on a daily basis, your omega-3s for healthy levels of inflammation. Yeah, and then I'm looking into specific antivirals, and I have all the ones that I use at stevencabral.com/the-protocol, and you might even want to add in a little bit of colloidal silver as well. All right? So I wish you all the best. I know you'll heal as well. It's only a matter of time. It's not a matter of if. Just remember that. Everybody needs to remember that. It's not a matter of if. It's just a matter of when. And the more you do, the more consistent you are, the faster your body will heal on your body's timeline, not anybody else's. All right? You'll get there. 100% positive for that. And then, so what I was thinking is just going back to Luciana. Luciana, yes, I'm glad that you did the 21-day detox because that's always the place to start. Alexis, while you're in a stress-based state, you don't want to do a detox yet. You want to get your body healthy and strong. All right. Again, unless you just start with days 3 through 7 of the meal plan, and then that's okay. All right. Tonya is up last today. Her question or his question is, hello, my son has encoparesis. He was diagnosed when he was 3 years old, and he's now 10. For years, the doctor said Marilax was the answer. Last year, I decided enough was enough, and I quit the Marilax. I hired a nutritionist, and he did a food sensitivity test. Turns out he has an allergic to dairy, gluten, soy, egg whites, peanuts, and tilapia. By the way, we say these things in natural health all the time. Hey, if you were just to eliminate these 3 to 5 foods, you would most likely eliminate the most common food sensitivities. What are they? Dairy, gluten, eggs, especially egg whites, certain types of fish, but we don't usually eliminate those quite yet. Soy, corn, peanuts. Again, you have to understand it's amazing. But that's why I do. I always say, test your food sensitivities. All right, but I digress. I searched your podcast and found one other where you suggest testing. So we're next doing the stool test. Good. Yes, do the stool test next. Good. The bacteria and parasite stool test. By the way, all these labs are at stevencabral.com/labs. However, I've heard you also mention a 5-day intestinal cleanse, and I was wondering if we could do this. Would this work as a Marilax? Currently, we are doing aloe vera juice and magnesium, as well as a major diet change that has been going great. Thanks for everything you do. Okay, so since your son is 10 years old, I especially can't give medical advice to a child over the internet. I've never even seen before, haven't seen labs, haven't seen case studies, any of these things. But what happens is we don't have enough bowel movement going on. So what we need to do is we really need to look at maybe doing the children's CBO protocol. First, run the bacteria and parasite stool test. Then you'll know if that's the proper thing because it comes with a coaching call as well. In the past, I've talked about Marilax before. I'm not a recommender of it all. I prefer using things like magnesium. I prefer using things like fruit in the diet to get the bowels moving. I prefer doing things like smoothies, smoothie pops, smoothie bowls for children. Big advocate of that. Can they do the intestinal cleanse? Yes. The dosage is going to change, though. Okay, so you just have to keep that in mind because the intestinal cleanse formula is what gets the bowels moving. And then the binder is what binds up a lot of the toxins that might be in the intestines. So it doesn't like replace a Marilax, but it gets the bowels moving and it actually pulls and draws out a lot of toxins from the bowels. And by the way, this is all, of course, scientifically proven. So hopefully those recommendations help. You're definitely on the right track. Again, I'm excited for you because you're moving more towards the natural health-based realm. And that's really how we get to the bottom of these things. So thanks everyone for writing in today. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate your time. Amazing week this week on the show. And we've got a brand new week to come starting tomorrow on our Motivation and Mindset Monday. Don't miss it. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.